Welcome Trinidad and Tobago to our News 4 report, a product of the Government Information Services Limited. I'm Nicola Barreto. Let's take a look at the headlines. The acting president of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago has called on the nation to reflect over the past 50 years since independence. Pro Vice Chancellor and campus principal of UWI, Clement Sankat, has hailed life skills for tertiary level programs, and in sport, Warriors no match for Defence Force. To our top story, a call has been made to take a look back over the past 50 years since independence. It's with this initiative the University of the West Indies is hosting a series of distinguished lectures over the next few days on how Trinidad and Tobago can be viewed as a model nation coming out of a colonial past and standing on its own 2 feet for half of a century. Acting President Timothy Hamel-Smith touched base on key aspects that Trinidad and Tobago needs to do still as it looks to move forward. John Victor reports.
Answering the question, where will we and where can we be? It's the focus of a series of public discussions now taking place at the St. Augustine campus of the University of the West Indies. The events are specifically organized in celebration of Trinidad and Tobago's 50th anniversary as an independent nation. Inaugurating the seminar, Acting President Timothy Hamel-Smith noted that the full potential of being an independent nation was yet to be understood by the population at large.
In many ways, after 50 years on the journey since independence, there is a sense we have underperformed. Of course, that simply means that the best is yet to come. As part of this process, I propose to consider some aspects of our Constitution and to make some suggestions as to ways in which it could be re-engineered to unlock the potential of our people.
The first session focused on the legacy of the country's first Prime Minister, Dr. Eric Williams, and his politics in a contemporary Trinidad and Tobago. However, in charting the way forward for our nation, the acting head of state noted that key aspects of the Constitution needed revisiting.
Our founding fathers underscored the well-known principle that our people are our most precious resource, when they stated in the preamble to the Constitution that the people of Trinidad and Tobago have asserted their belief in a democratic society in which all persons may, to the extent of their capacity, play some part in the institutions of the national life, and thus develop and maintain due respect for lawfully constituted authority.
One of the points posited by several commentators, he noted, was Trinidad and Tobago's decision to retain the Privy Council as its final court of appeal instead of the CCJ.
What that raises in my mind is the issue as to whether we can take the journey towards cutting the Privy Council umbilical cord in stages. In that light, I would like to propose for consideration that we appoint the Caribbean Court of Justice as a court of origination, and better yet, the final appellate court as well, for the hearing of constitutional matters. Such a move would dramatically reduce the time taken for matters involving the Constitution, as all such actions would be initiated in the Caribbean Court of Justice without the need to go through the process of a hearing in the High Court and the Court of Appeal.
The seminar will continue at Dagger Hall, UWI St. Augustine, over the next 2 days and will touch on several key issues that have influenced the country's historical past. John Victor, News 4.
When we come back, UWI's Pro Vice Chancellor talks about life skills. Stay with us.
I'm Natasha, and like most Trinbagonians, I love the beach. The beach can be fun, but we have to be tsunami smart and know the warning signs. You're at the beach and you feel the earth shake. Run. You see the water moving an unusual distance out from the shore. Run. You hear a strange roar from the sea. Run. If you experience any of these warning signs, run to higher ground. Be tsunami smart and know the natural warning signs. They could save your life.
A message from the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Management, United States Agency for International Development, Caribbean Disaster and Emergency Management Agency, UWI Seismic Research Center, and the European Union.
Carjacking has become very prevalent in recent times. Certain makes of vehicles are more preferred targets for criminals. When approaching intersections or junctions, ensure that all doors are locked and windows are wound up if possible. Remember, crime prevention is everyone's business. A message from the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service.
Thank you for staying with us. Pro Vice Chancellor and Campus Principal of the University of the West Indies, St. Augustine, Clement Sankat, is commending the efforts of the Ministry of Science, Technology and Tertiary Education for hosting national consultations on the life skills for the tertiary levels programs in this country. He is openly welcoming the initiative, saying it is crucial to the all-round development of the individual. Verna Barrett has the story.
Speaking at the National Consultations on Life Skills event was UWI Principal Professor Clement Sankat, who is highlighting the need for national consultations in the education system.
I think it is absolutely important that as leaders of our educational institutions, that we all pay particular attention to the kind of graduates that we are producing, whether it's at the SEA level, primary, secondary, tertiary, and even, and certainly at the university level. We need to review how they are performing in our society, how they are contributing to our society, and if we are detecting gaps, we need to restructure our curricula, we need to restructure the way and the things that our students teach and learn. So I endorse this occasion of this public consultation on national life skills.
Professor Sankat says there are some skill deficiencies that have been identified, and as such, he says there is need to produce well-rounded graduates. He adds that the national consultations will help in addressing that issue.
At the University of the West Indies, over the last several years, we have recognized that our students are quite competent in technical skills. Our feedback from our employers have indicated that to us. We have discovered that there are deficiencies in some of what are called the softer skills, including communication studies, for example, team building skills, leadership skills, etc.
The University of the West Indies St. Augustine Campus Principal says he is in full support of the national consultations and is applauding the efforts of the various ministries involved.
Ministers, I endorse what is happening here. I want to congratulate you. This is innovation, this is creativity at work. Sometimes we don't like to rethink what we do, but I really congratulate all of you for what you're doing here, and you could be assured that the University of the West Indies will take the findings of this public consultation quite seriously, as we also are attempting to reform our curricula.
Verna Barrett, News 4.
Attempts are being made to reach the student population that is in need of special attention. This effort is part of the Education Ministry's goal of reaching all students through strategic objectives. Minister of Education, Dr. the Honorable Tim Gopi Singh, outlined plans during a forum on addressing concerns over children with special needs. Kimberly Ramkalawan reports.
Over 30% of the student population in Trinidad and Tobago are said to have special needs and disabilities that require guidance counselors. This according to Education Minister Dr. Tim Gopi Singh, who says his ministry is working closely with several organizations as they collectively seek to address this need. The minister was speaking to reporters following a forum on special education at the Rujnath Kapildeo Learning Resource Center, Macbean, Couva.
These range between the visual, auditory, the visually impaired, the hearing impaired, the motor disturbances, neurologic, emotional, behavioral and psychological abnormalities, Down syndrome, dyslexia, autism, attention deficit syndrome, or attention deficit disorder, and behavioral and psychological abnormalities.
Minister Gopi Singh said the consultations will utilize collaborative methods with the groups as they seek to find a way forward for students dealing with similar conditions.
We have approximately 22 schools in the country taking care of some of these students, but only approximately about 2,000 students are taken care of by this method. So a wide range of recommendations were made on the way forward, and this involves setting up centers throughout Trinidad and Tobago. First of all, determining the incidence and prevalence of these various disorders and disabilities. On a first pilot project that we're doing with the IADB, the Inter-American Development Bank, which will kick off probably in another 2 weeks, where we'll determine the true incidence and prevalence of these special needs.
Psychological experts, along with several behavioral specialists, are expected to lend support not only to schools, but to parents as well.
It's a multidisciplinary approach that we're going to be working with, and an inter-ministerial approach, and a collaborative approach between the various stakeholders in Trinidad and Tobago. We have captured all the information which they have shared with us, and we are going to continue to share our way forward with them, so that pretty shortly we'll be moving headlong into dealing with the students with these special needs from throughout Trinidad and Tobago.
Minister Gopi Singh expressed hope in the new system as the ministry looks to develop children to realize their full potential in society. Kimberly Ramkalawan, News 4.
When we come back, basketball features in our sports segment. Stay with us.
Homo sapien, we'll call him Mark. It spends its days trying to attract a mate. Success. What follows is a series of celebratory actions unique to this species. Every Homo sapien has their own way of displaying themselves to attract a female. But things don't go according to plan.
Where do you want to go?
No water, no love. Pay your WASA bill today.
The Water and Sewage Authority of Trinidad and Tobago. Water security for every sector. Deliver it. Sustain it.
There's a spark of greatness in each of us. That spark is called personality. Individual gifts and talents provide the fuel to set that spark ablaze. Each child has the right to an education which values their personality and nurtures their talents, while teaching them to be respectful to their parents and their cultures.
Welcome back. Fresh from their championship victory in the Super 10, the Defense Force destroyed Mokoya Forum 140-36 in their opening Northern Basketball League match on Saturday. Last night was Game 2 for the Tetron men, which resulted in another blowout in their favor. Wayne Cunningham has the details.
San Juan Warriors were hoping to avoid the fate of Mokoya when they met a rampant Defense Force in the Northern Basketball League last night at the Jean Pierre Sports Complex. Their hopes must have lifted when they saw Star Army forward Stephen Leiter Lewis taking a back seat in the stands along with most of the other regular starters. From as early as the first scoring shot, it was clear that the Defense Force will not need their high scorer, Hedis Lewis, with a 3. Then it was Michael Alert, free as a bird, to drop in another. Sean Solomon was battling to keep San Juan in the match as he sneaks in this basket and draws the foul. Guard Derek Boxell with a strange assist to Devon Waddell, which caught San Juan off guard. Even his coach, Mervyn Unks Jackson, was baffled. but the Warriors kept themselves in the game with some gutsy plays. Dewell Anthony with the steal, Aaron Charles with the 2, as they trailed by only 9 at the half. By the end of the third period, they cut that to 6. That is when the Army started to pull away, but it was not pretty. Edith Lewis was the high scorer for the defense force, 2 of his 21 points coming after this easy layup. Waddell putting in his 2 cents worth. The defense force skipper, Gerald Tooney, keeping up the pressure. This bucket from Kevin Julian was a rare sight in the second half for San Juan. Sean Solomon was the game-high scorer with 23 points on the night, but his effort was not enough to stop the defense force from registering their second big win in succession. In the end, it was a 30-point difference as San Juan Warriors fell 82-52. Matches continue in the league tomorrow night with Strakenettes versus Caledonia Clippers in the feature game at 8 p.m. Wayne Cunningham, News 4 Sports.
In other news, Minister of Education Dr. The Honorable Tim Gopi Singh says the national consultation on life skills is critical to the development of a holistic individual in society. He was addressing the national consultation on life skills where Tertiary Education Minister Senator The Honorable Fazil Karim and campus principal of UWI St. Augustine Mr. Clement Sankat spoke. Verna Bath reports.
Education Minister Dr. Tim Gopi Singh is announcing that revision of the primary school curriculum and that of the early childhood care system are also ongoing by the Ministry of Education. He was speaking at the National Consultations on Life Skills at the University of the West Indies in St. Augustine.
We ourselves had various consultations for the review of the primary school curriculum and the early childhood education curriculum. We had 8 consultations in the 8 districts of Trinidad and Tobago and a 2-day at Cascadia Hotel early last year, moving towards the end of last year. And we have now assertively changed our curriculum to a major extent, and which you all have been hearing me speak about over the last few months. So we are in the process of developing and fulfilling a relevant curriculum for our primary schools, and which we will extend to our early childhood education system as well.
Dr. Gopi Singh adds that the forum will give the public the opportunity to air concerns and give feedback on the tertiary programs as well as the social training programs of the state. He is also underscoring that transformation of the education system is critical at this point.
In our effort for transformation of our education system and a paradigm shift, which is so sadly and badly lacking at the moment, and which is extremely urgent and important to implement. I'm especially glad to see that my colleague, the Minister of Science and Technology and Tertiary Education, is taking a keen interest in the public's opinion and input in enhancing the existing National Life Skills curriculum on this, the anniversary of our 50th year of independence.
The Education Minister is also highlighting some of the areas to be focused on for discussion through the national consultation.
It will affect interpersonal, intrapersonal skills, employability skills, communication skills, of course, financial skills as well. They are supposed to engender among our citizens, especially the late teens and early 20s, and some of the students are here from MIC, crucial decision-making abilities, as well as critical thinking, values, and proper and accepted social and lawful behavior. In today's world, we should also teach an individual proper financial literacy, proper parenting techniques, substance abuse prevention, and proper healthy lifestyles and living.
Veena Bharath, News 4.
After the break, scholarships from the Indian government available for Trinidad and Tobago citizens. Stay with us.
Some parents don't pay attention to the children when they come on the beach, you know, boy.
Yeah, you know everybody's take us for babysitters on the beach. Sometimes they come to the beach and they ask her, I've got way to bed with my kids. They tell them better take kids wayside.
Yeah.
So they pick up the children and they go in the water, them wayside, and forget Smalley down there water, neck height, and even stand up.
But when you think about those now who like to use their shoulders as springboards, and children diving out in the deep, and if the water shallow, you know what happens? Spinal injuries. And they go in the water, more than one children. Yeah. One year, they walking, going. True. Next you know, look at the wave, boy. The children scrambling, they're grabbing one, they're grabbing two. All the others. Wrong in. And what about those who use these tubes? Or those who use wings on their arms? Yeah. Next thing, air come out of one of the wings, child halfway under the water, drowning. And drinking water. Or the wings come off totally, and the child under the water. Come on, people, be water smart.
Personal music players can stop you from being aware of your surroundings. Always be aware of your surroundings and periodically look over your shoulder to prevent anyone from sneaking up on you. Remember, crime prevention is everyone's business. A message from the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service.
In keeping with government's plans to develop the human capital, Minister of Planning and the Economy, Dr. the Honorable Bohendradat Tewari, has announced that citizens stand to benefit from scholarships being offered by nations this country has partnered with as a result of agreements signed. Kimberly Ramkalawan has more.
Soon, students from this country will benefit from scholarships from the Indian government. That's the announcement from Minister of Planning, Economic and Social Restructuring, Dr. Bo Tewari, who says the move is part of government's plan on developing the human capital.
The reason we are doing this is because, for instance, in the case of the OAS scholarships, these scholarship opportunities were advertised in March in the Daily Express, the Guardian newspapers, Newsday. 2 days in each newspaper, and we had a fair number of applicants. And it is always better to have large numbers of people know what is available, so you get the largest possible pool of talent, so that the selection process could be as transparent and merit-oriented as it possibly can be.
He added that scholarships will also be available for persons with disabilities.
Cabinet also agreed to review the framework for the selection of candidates for the social work and related social sciences disciplines scholarships, so that the criteria again will be very clear, transparent, open, and meritocratic. And the evaluation framework for the selection of candidates for the library and information sciences scholarships, and also an evaluation framework for the selection of candidates for scholarships offered under the Disability Scholarship Program. So that will serve a specific sector of the community that will be supported for human development.
Meanwhile, Tertiary Education Minister Fazil Karim noted that plans were being made to specialize doctors here in TNT in the field of otolaryngology.
In this regard, there is therefore a shortage of approximately 16 ENT surgeons in the medical fraternity in Trinidad and Tobago. So that we see this as an important step as the government of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago recognizes that there are important medical personnel that are required to satisfy the health needs of our population. And this is only one of the many programs that we intend to pursue in the near future.
The minister has noted that the program will be funded through the Government Assistance for Tuition Expenses Program, GATE, and will also be required to work in Trinidad and Tobago for a period of 2 years. Kimberly Ramkalawan, News 4.
And that's how we wrap up this edition of our News 4 report, a product of the Government Information Services Limited. I'm Nicola Barreto. Thank you for joining us.